When Boeing first introduced the 787, it was seen as a bold step forward, a symbol of ambition and a desire to push beyond the boundaries of traditional aerospace design. Nicknamed the Dreamliner, it carried with it the hopes of engineers, airlines, and travelers alike. But despite its promising start, a series of technical problems soon began to surface. These issues not only disrupted the aviation industry but gradually weakened public trust in the aircraft. What caused the Dreamliner to fall so far from grace? And could this very aircraft bring about the end of its own era in aviation? Initially, the Boeing 787 Dreamliner was celebrated as a game-changer in the skies. It was launched with the promise of transforming air travel, offering passengers a new level of comfort through advanced engineering. Among its most notable innovations was its unique cabin pressurization system, which maintained an altitude of around 6,000 feet, much lower than standard aircraft. This helped reduce fatigue and discomfort on long-haul flights. Higher humidity levels inside the cabin also eased the dry eyes and skin travelers often experienced. Another striking feature was the larger windows, about 30% bigger than those in conventional planes, with electronic dimming technology that replaced traditional window shades. Thanks to its refined aerodynamic shape and quieter engines, the Dreamliner also delivered a noticeably more peaceful in-flight environment. These upgrades weren't just improvements, they were designed to redefine what passengers expected from modern air travel. Perhaps the most revolutionary aspect of the Dreamliner was its construction. It became the world's first commercial jet made primarily of carbon fiber composites rather than aluminum, making it lighter, stronger, and more fuel-efficient. Its sleek design was meant to lead the future of aviation. However, what was meant to be a dream aircraft soon turned into a persistent problem. On March 20, 2025, the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, issued a serious airworthiness directive, ordering inspections of the 787's forward pressure bulkhead. This crucial part of the aircraft ensures cabin pressure remains stable at high altitudes. Investigators revealed that Boeing may have made multiple assembly mistakes, such as leaving improper gaps, using incorrectly installed fasteners, and failing to meet required technical specifications. Though these flaws didn't pose an immediate threat, the FAA warned they could worsen over time, potentially leading to cracks, corrosion, or dangerous structural failure. This warning wasn't an isolated event. Since 2020, Boeing has repeatedly paused Dreamliner deliveries due to various production problems, especially related to how parts of the fuselage were joined. To address these issues, the company established off-site facilities, referred to as shadow factories, to secretly repair over 120 undelivered jets. Going further back to 2013, the entire global fleet of 787s was grounded following a series of lithium-ion battery fires. Once viewed as Boeing's flagship aircraft, the Dreamliner was now more closely associated with recurring technical failures and a crumbling quality control system. In addition to structural issues, a fresh concern has recently emerged involving the Dreamliner's communication systems. Earlier this year, the FAA quietly released a notice requesting public input on a new safety rule. This regulation would require Boeing to fix a flaw in the aircraft's VHF radio software. The radios were found to switch between active and standby modes without any input from the crew, potentially cutting off critical communication between pilots and air traffic controllers. The FAA warned that such unexpected changes could lead to dangerous situations mid-flight. Comments submitted to the FAA reflected deepening public frustration. One anonymous user wrote, "Given Boeing's history of prioritizing profits over passenger safety, I wouldn't fly on one of their planes if you paid me." Even major airline Qatar Airways confirmed that communication problems remained in its 787 fleet, despite following the FAA's recommended fix. The recent revelations about flaws in the pressure bulkhead have only intensified scrutiny, raising pressing concerns about Boeing's broader failure to maintain consistent oversight and uphold the high standards expected in aviation manufacturing. Although Boeing maintains that its aircraft remain safe, having completed over 165,000 flight cycles without showing signs of structural fatigue, the FAA has still ordered inspections for all US-registered 787 models, ranging from the -8 to the -10. The estimated cost for these inspections is about $850 per plane, totaling nearly $115,000 for the affected fleet, not accounting for potential interruptions to commercial service. Boeing has stated it agrees with the FAA's decision and is fully dedicated to resolving every issue, no matter how small. However, the frequency of these recurring problems raises deeper questions. Could this indicate a broader issue within the company's manufacturing culture? Since the 1990s, when Boeing reorganized its leadership by replacing engineering experts with Wall Street executives, there has been growing concern about declining standards in safety and quality. Once hailed as a model of American industrial success, Boeing now finds itself repeatedly called before Congress to explain its latest production or safety failure. And before we continue, thank you for sticking with us. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe and share it with your friends. Stay connected to be the first to catch our newest content. Over time, the growing number of problems Boeing has faced has had a profound impact, shaking the company's foundation and reputation. The Dreamliner, once celebrated for innovation, has now become linked to frequent technical issues. This persistent pattern of malfunctions has significantly eroded public trust in Boeing and has raised concerns among airlines and aviation regulators. The FAA and international oversight agencies have responded by intensifying their scrutiny, tightening safety protocols and restricting the company's ability to scale up production. A major turning point came last year when Boeing's then CEO Dave Calhoun announced he would step down by year-end. His resignation marked what many see as the beginning of a much-needed transformation in Boeing's leadership and overall strategy. The fallout extends even more directly to the airlines. Constant maintenance, inspections, and adherence to safety regulations have led to mounting expenses and widespread scheduling disruptions. These ongoing problems are not just frustrating, they are financially draining. Many airlines, growing weary of the 787's repeated issues, are now shifting their focus toward alternatives like the Airbus A350. This aircraft, a direct competitor to the Dreamliner, has earned praise for its consistent reliability and operational efficiency, making it an attractive choice for carriers hoping to avoid the technical struggles Boeing's model presents. With the aviation industry still trying to recover from the pandemic's economic blow, the timing couldn't be worse. Airlines under pressure to cut costs and streamline operations may be forced to rethink their long-term fleet plans due to the continuing troubles tied to the Dreamliner. To make matters worse, the FAA's recent directive concerning the Dreamliner's pressure bulkhead has delivered yet another setback to Boeing's already damaged reputation. The situation has not only intensified the concerns of airlines but has also made it even harder for the company to recover its standing. This comes at a particularly challenging time, as the American aircraft manufacturer is still grappling with the aftermath of a string of major controversies. Beyond the troubles with the Dreamliner, Boeing is still dealing with the consequences of the 737 MAX disasters, the devastating crashes in 2018 and 2019 that claimed 346 lives. And if that weren't enough, another disturbing incident occurred in 2024 when a fuselage panel broke off mid-air during an Alaska Airlines flight. These ongoing safety failures have placed Boeing in a steep uphill battle to rebuild its damaged reputation. However, Boeing's recovery is not only dependent on resolving the technical issues within its fleet. What's at stake is the very foundation of its identity, its reputation for quality and reliability. The company must work to rebuild a culture rooted in trust, safety, and excellence, traits that once made it a leader in aviation. This transformation demands a shift in how the company operates, collaborates with its partners, and fulfills its commitments. While innovation and technological advancements remain important, they cannot take the place of the integrity and precision that must be present in every aircraft. If Boeing fails to regain the confidence of airlines, passengers, and regulatory bodies, the Dreamliner, once celebrated as the next big leap in aviation, could ultimately serve as a warning story instead. The aircraft could come to symbolize how flawed priorities, repeated oversights, and the dismissal of critical voices can lead to long-term reputational damage and wasted potential. What was originally envisioned as a revolutionary milestone in aviation might instead go down as one of the most costly errors in the industry's history. Boeing's current position in the aviation world is increasingly precarious, with little room left for error, especially regarding safety. In a time when public scrutiny is more intense than ever and trust can be shattered by a single event, the tolerance for mistakes has become virtually non-existent. Once admired as the future of long-haul air travel, the Dreamliner now reflects just how fast confidence can erode when manufacturing shortcuts and quality control problems are exposed. The latest airworthiness directive issued by the FAA, this time highlighting structural issues near the forward pressure bulkhead, is not just a routine notice. It highlights how much more Boeing must do to align its processes with today's strict aviation standards. According to industry analysts and experts, Boeing's problems are not limited to mechanical faults or administrative lapses. What the company needs is a deep, structural transformation, one that reaches every level of the organization, from top executives down to the farthest points of its supply chain and quality control systems. Cosmetic fixes and minor corrections will no longer be enough to win back the trust of regulators, customers, or the traveling public. As Airbus continues to gain market share with its reliable and increasingly favored A350 aircraft, Boeing stands to lose strategic ground if it doesn't act with urgency and boldness. At the same time, airlines are becoming more cautious, revisiting their long-term fleet decisions with a sharper focus in this post-pandemic era, where profit margins are tight and competition is fierce. Airlines can no longer afford the uncertainty that comes with repeated technical failures. Some carriers have already begun to shift their preference toward manufacturers with stronger and more consistent performance records, a shift that could accelerate unless Boeing proves through meaningful actions that its dedication to safety and quality goes beyond words and press statements. The problem with the pressure bulkhead might appear minor or technical at first glance, but for those closely watching the industry, it represents something much bigger. It raises a profound and pressing question: does Boeing still hold true to its legacy of engineering excellence and commitment to safety, or has it shifted its focus toward pleasing shareholders at the cost of its core values? How this question is answered won't just impact the future of the Dreamliner, it could redefine Boeing's place in the world of commercial aviation over the next decade. What's at risk is far more than profits or market dominance, it's the very identity and integrity of one of America's most legendary manufacturers. As someone who flies, what's your perspective? Do you have any thoughtful suggestions for Boeing's future? Share them in the comments below. There's always a chance this video might catch the attention of someone at Boeing. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.